Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Hep me, I've been hypnotized. Wow, I was watching that Indiegogo trailer there at the end of the. Wow, I'm sure some subliminal messages got in there, and if they were smart, it was buy this book, get in there and back it. Welcome, I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, and a little bit different tonight. We've had this guest on before, but this is a different stage of the game now. For all of you people who have put up campaigns on Indiegogo or Kickstarter, you've done the pre-work and you've done all the whole length of the campaign, and then you get to the fulfillment of it all. There's another section we never really touch on, and that's when it's over. When it's like lay back and cigarette time, and that's where Bionic Bra is at here with Cobalt, Atlanta's Thrashing. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me back, RJ.
Glad to do it. So yeah, your campaign it's in demand. Mm-hmm. And we've never really talked with anybody about what that's like. I mean, how it feels to be like, I don't have a campaign I'm pushing. I just kind of got a campaign I fulfilled on. You have fulfilled on all of it, I'm guessing.
We have not started fulfillment yet. I'm waiting on the last stretch goal. No, you're good. We're waiting on the last stretch goal to be done. Phoenix Animation is doing it for me. It's the last metal trading card that I have going out, which has the cover art for issue 2 on it. And only the physical backers are going to be able to see what the issue 2 cover art's going to look like because of that trading card.
I gotcha. So issue 2 is going to launch probably very soon then.
I'm going to have the mailing list up for it, yeah, but we'll be launching pretty soon after that.
All right, so what do you do for your campaign when you're in this kind of a mode? I mean, you're on here tonight talking, of course, but I guess it's not quite as heavy of a burden.
No, it's almost kind of like a limbo, really. You're just kind of like floating around, watching everybody else do their thing, but also like trying to remain relevant at the same time almost. But, it's good. It feels like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I don't have to go out there and just like, engines fully running the whole time. I can actually sit back, chill, relax, and actually just like have an episode with an individual and just, shoot the shit on whatever topics want to be talked about. But yeah, man, it's been great. I'm happy. All the books are here. They're just waiting in the boxes to be unfolded and then put in their Geminis. So I have the Geminis. I have the bags and boards ready for them. I have all the other rewards done. I have the posters done.
Nice.
I have the 12 by 18s done by Phoenix Animation.
Are those metal?
This one's metal, yes. The 12 by 18 is metal. And then, of course,
Guillotine blade.
Oh, you know it. And then we got the comic-sized metal print of the cover art. So, yeah.
Sweet.
Oh, and this right here, it says Lee, which was going to be my first letterist, but we've actually gotten Eric Weathers to do the lettering on this book. So Eric Weathers is on the final print right there at the top.
Oh, I got you. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So you got some misprints.
I got some misprints. We've got those updated. Phoenix helped me out with that real quick. So everything is gold, man. I'm just waiting to push them out and get them to you.
So how does a campaign work when it's in demand and you had stretch goals? I mean, say you had a book, and now you've added, hey, you'll get a metal bookmark and a trading card and a print if we reach stretch goals A, B, and C. Now I come in and I see that the thing is in demand. All 3 stretch goals have been met. I'm like, oh yeah, well now I'm going to buy the book because I'm going to get the stretch goals. True or false?
If I run out of material, I'll definitely take them down. Like the stretch goals will be moot if I run out of the product. But since I still have since I bought a few extras just in case that did happen, I'm good to go. I still have like 15 to 20 prints of each individual metal print, and then I have a bunch of the paper posters just sitting next to me. So until I actually run out of the product, I'll keep those up. But when I do, I can actually shut it down, and you'll be SOL at that point.
Yeah, you will be. Okay. Because I wasn't sure how that worked. I know some people have talked about how, you don't get the stretch goal if you weren't part of the funding part of it. And I didn't know how Indiegogo kept track of that or if they even tried to.
I think the stretch goals is on the individual at that point. But it doesn't really bug me because this is my first campaign. I still want everybody to partake in all the, little tidbits and rewards and everything. I want everybody to have, a really good experience with this first issue. So they'll come back, get ready for issue 2, and, just be lined up at the door ready for whatever I bring out and about to you. But at this point, man, I mean, sky's the limit for Cobalt. I'm waiting on issue 2. I've got other ideas rolling around in my head. I've got other stories outside of the Cobalt universe I'd also like to do for comics. So this is just the launching point for Tail End Studio.
So Eric Herrenberg in the chat says Eric Weathers letters every book. That is the law. That
is right. Written in stone.
Dory Jones, welcome to the chat. Glad you're here.
Hey, Dory.
So you said that Cobalt 2 is done? Did I hear?
No. It's still in the development stages. Like, okay. I have it on paper, but I haven't actually written out the script of it yet. I've just got the outlines, the little subplots, the little details that need to be in there. I have all that written down. I just need to put it in page and panel form.
Okay, so nothing's gone to an artist then at this point.
No, not yet.
Cover.
No, not other than the cover. No, and the cover artist for this is again my interior artist, Erwin Arosa, this time around.
I'm hearing that more and more frequently this last week and a half. That cover artists are also the interior artists, because I guess apparently there was some committee meeting in crowdfunded comics last month that said, "Hey, I hate books that have a different cover artist than the interior artist," and it's all
that's dumb.
Or something. I'm like,
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because look at all those variants being bought out by everybody else. I mean, that is a moot point in my opinion. I mean, why are you asking for all these variants from different artists if you're going to stand by that?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you publish some of the interior art on the campaign, because it is different than the newsstand or the comic shop where you pick it up. It's like J. Scott Campbell, Trevor Von Eaton.
Yeah, I've ran into that a couple times with different DC books or whatever, but it never really bugged me, because when you pick up the comic, what grabs you is the cover. Yeah. But as soon as you do that, you're going to open it up and start looking through it and everything, and if it doesn't match up, but you like the content inside, it's a flip of the coin, really.
Yeah, I can just I guess the thing was that there were maybe some books that weren't represented the interior correctly, and they had really nice covers, and then you got them and they were serviceable at best on the interiors, but no one was aware that that's what it was going to look like.
Are we talking about 499? Is that what we're talking about?
I have no idea. No, I have no book in mind. I really don't, because I haven't seen it. And I can't imagine what it would be, because it seems like every crowdfunding campaign I look at, half the damn book is printed right there on the page.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand it, man. But no, I ain't gonna stand by that. I've actually been thinking about doing a variant for issue 2, and I'm looking at either asking one group or another group. I'm not gonna say who yet, because I want to lock it down before I reveal who. But I'm definitely looking at 2 individuals. Well, individual groups.
He's got nothing to do.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be hitting them up to see if they want to do a cover art for issue 2 for a variant, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, man, I'm ready. I'm starting to work on issue 2 to get it all out and get the script ready for Irwin. He is going to be my interior artist for this coming issue also. I just love it. I mean, you see the backdrop right there that we have around us, and it's gorgeous, and I don't want to go away from that. He's a great artist. He's great to work with. He's a fun guy. He's become basically a friend at this point, man. Like, we've had deep conversations. We've talked family and friends, and there's no language barrier. It's very much just shooting the shit with a buddy over Messenger, basically.
That's the kind of relationship you want to build up between 2 creators, because once you have that, you start thinking along the same lines when you're talking the book, and you'll start colliding with sentences that are the same. Hey, what if we did? I was just typing that. It gets kind of freaky, but that's what you've got the synergy developed, and then it's time, like, well, let's do this now because we're in sync. Let's create something. But so Cobalt 2 is going to be the very next project. It's not going to happen in between issues. No,
I actually wanted to get the first 4 issues of Cobalt out. That way you actually have substance of this character. You've actually grown to enjoy this character and to know the individuals within the story. And then after that, take a little bit of a breather, work on a different project and try and shoot that out. Because I have a mythological / folklore tale that I want to tell called Damascus. And then I have a sci-fi one that I want to try and work out. That's kind of like the Odyssey in space, called Rayet.
Okay. Does the current Cobalt story take 4 issues, or is it like 2 different Cobalt stories over 4 issues, 4 different Cobalt stories over 4 issues?
No, it's like normal comic book storytelling. It takes a couple comics to tell a story arc.
Okay. I didn't know if you were like, everyone was
self-contained,
but still propelling things forward and evolving.
Nah, they're not self-contained, but they are moving forward. So it's very much like how TV shows get their like 30 minutes from like a 4-issue run of a comic book. That's how I'm doing it. So you're going to get the same story across like 4 to 7 comics, and then more characters will come in, more individuals will have their own like individual stories that'll break off and go in different areas. I'm actually working on Thomas Rogers' character and what's going to be breaking off for him in a little bit, because the mentor of Cobalt, he's going to start seeing things kind of unfold with Jesse, aka Cobalt, and he's going to be starting to work out different things where he can keep more of an eye on Jesse, because Jesse seems to be a little dishonest at this point.
Okay, well, for those who have not met Cobalt or Jesse, can you give us that elevator pitch on who Cobalt is and why he's different?
All right. So Cobalt's different because this kid is a blue collar guy, man. He started out working in a factory, and then lo and behold, one day he's at the hospital with his mother, and they find out that she has cancer. So he goes and takes a job as a runner for the Aranya cartel, who's basically the underworld's drug ring at this point in Atlanta. And so he becomes a runner for them. And throughout this time, he gets really good at it. He's pretty good, just being real smooth talker, being able to, handle his business while he's talking with other individuals that are a little crooked. And Esmeralda actually really likes having Jesse on her team. He gets stuff done. He doesn't ask questions. But one night he actually has a deal go bad, and he loses both the merchandise and the money. So she takes his hand in place of that. And so it unfolds from there. He meets Thomas Rogers, who runs this like little therapy group for amputees that were in the military and whatnot. He decides to join them one night. Thomas gets, a little bit of a sympathy shoulder for him to cry on and whatnot, and takes him under his wing, shows him some stuff. And then Jesse starts taking what he's learned and turns that into the character Cobalt. He starts wanting to take vengeance on the Iranian cartel. And then after all that, this is where we pick up with Cobalt Atlantis thrashing. So what I just told you was the 7-page origin story that I did for an anthology, which I included in the book along with this. So you're going to get that origin story along with this, but Cobalt Atlantis thrashing is the aftermath of that which took place. So we're setting it in a cyberpunk neo-noir Atlanta. And so we're going to be getting mixes of like Blade Runner. We're not going fully like Alita Battle Angel, but we're definitely going to be getting into that kind of stuff where there's a lot of prosthetics among the bodies. And then there's a lot of like circuitry and whatnot playing within, the different ideas of gadgets and, how to take on, enemies within this world. And then as we blow it up, it's going to become supers versus masks in a cyberpunk setting.
Okay, so because there are supers in this world, are they supers because of the prosthetics, or are they sort of, or some of them just naturally super?
No, man. Humans feel like they got to build weapons to match up what the supers can do. So it's going to be a very much a mixture of either you're born with these gifts or you've created your own gifts.
Okay. Now, I was going to ask earlier, and you've already kind of sort of answered the question, but not necessarily about Cobalt. He does have a prosthetic hand, and I didn't know, was there anything built into the hand that gives him an edge as Cobalt? Or is he more just a fighter who just happens to have, don't get hit with the hand that's made out of metal on this side because it'll clock you?
Yeah, more like that. Like there's a few things laid within the hand that can work to his advantage, but I'm going to let that come up as the story unfolds. But yeah, he's definitely got his utility belt. His tonfas can do some, dismantling and reassembling to do other things. And his hands have a few trinkets in the fingers that he can pull out when he needs to.
I just had this. You ever see Johnny Sacco and his flying robot?
No.
Oh, you should. Not that we're gonna. Excuse me.
No problem. I've never heard of that.
Got it here. I just gotta unbury it because it's in a very tall stack.
I might have seen it. I'm more of a visual person than go by name. I suck with names. I'm going to tell you that right now. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
So
I've seen it around.
Yeah, it was a giant robot, and one of the things he would do was he would hold his hand out like this, and the fingers would fly off as rockets. I never replaced them.
No rocket punches like that, but
for no dumb reason, I just thought of Cobalt doing that, just like. Pew, pew, pew.
No, maybe he'll have different kinds of hands that can do different things when the opportunity arrives. But no, at this point, he's just able to like pull off the index of the finger, and then like something inside of it will be able to be used. But yeah, man,
the taser would make the most sense because you don't have to reload it.
Right? He's attached to the taser, though. I don't know if that'll be good or not.
Might not be. Yeah. Well, consider he's probably got an insulated rubber insole that his.
Yeah, he's got like a silicone, wrap around it. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I do.
You brought that up. You got a personal connection to why you created the character this way.
Most definitely. I created a 7-page origin story inside an anthology called Super Abled Comics. And that was created for kids who were growing up with limb difference. So we created characters that were actually at the front of the story, not just like sidekicks like Cable was done in Deadpool or stuff like that, but actually taking over the story and the stories about them and how that unfolds. So we presented these to the kids back in 2019, and they loved it. My first taste of comic book creating was right there. Of course, it was Cobalt. Of course, there was a little bit of, a parallel between what happened to me and what happens to him. It was very cathartic, and then it just grew into this suddenly cyberpunk thing. Like, cyberpunk didn't have anything to do with it in the origins. So I very much have just been brewing on this idea of Cobalt and how to make it seem more unique and not just, tit for tat like Daredevil or Moon Knight or, my favorite Nightwing and stuff like that.
I just noticed on the close-up that the fingers on your prosthetic were curled. Are they always that way, or do you?
Nah.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm wearing a mechanical one right now. I've got my electric one out in the car that I usually use at work, but these ones just mechanically hit the indentation and then stop, and I can push them in all the way and they'll flip up. Or I have this little trick back here on this finger that I can push and it'll come right up.
Do you ever just put them all down and get that middle one to go?
Oh, you know it. People cut me off over here in Nashville all the time, so I'll definitely go like that.
But you got an electric one, and that was my curiosity. Was are they? I keep seeing stories about that. Prosthetics are coming to the point where they respond to nerve signals as though they were your natural extension.
Yeah.
And have you played with those kind of things? Do they work?
That's what my electric one is. Now, it doesn't work exactly like your normal hand would, but I do shoot off different muscles to make the sensors pick up what I want them to do at that time. So I can open and close it. I can make it go into a pinch or a tripod, flip somebody off, rock out at a concert, stuff like that. I rocked out at Queen when they were up here two years ago in Nashville. And but yeah, man, they're myoelectric. They work off of your nerve endings. They're battery powered, lithium ion. So inside a lithium ion battery, there's this substance called cobalt, and so
that's where it comes from. I was wondering how why that particular metal got picked for a name there.
Right. Yeah, what's really funny is it doesn't actually have the color blue until you add another chemical to the compound. So, it's basically just like brushed silver at that point until you add the compound, and then it becomes blue. Yeah, fun facts.
It is, though. It's amazing how where we're at and what we take for granted. I remember in high school, I read Cyborg, not the DC Comics character, but the actual novel that was used as the basis for the $6 Million Man series.
Okay.
So much of the physicality and how Colonel Steve Austin got used to this body. I mean, television series, it's like he gets up, he's like, "Hey, look, I've got bionic parts here. Oh, I can lift a car. This is cool." But it went into the whole training where it's like, he's running and he's running out of breath, and he has to keep reminding himself, says, "I don't have to breathe as hard. I have 2/3 of my circulatory system carrying oxygen around. So it's not using up oxygen as much. Just let the legs do the work," kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just getting into the rhythm of stuff. And of course, in the book, he didn't have this bionic eye that was it was a camera. So he would he could flex and take pictures, but then he had to poke his eye in and pop it out and give it to somebody.
That's awesome. I heard that they were trying to reboot it into a movie with Mark Wahlberg and call it The $1 Billion Man.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I heard it. I saw a poster for it, but I don't know if it came to fruition.
I remember the Bionic Woman series, the reboot series they did. I was not super impressed. I mean, when they went the whole, it's nanite technology, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
But you weren't even around when the $6 Million Man was out yet. So,
sorry.
You can get the DVD set. I've got it.
That's right.
It's actually pretty cool. I watched all the Bigfoot episodes first because he was a recurring guest star, and that was the other big thing in the 70s was Bigfoot. It was like,
that's crazy.
Onyx, we're gonna have Bigfoot.
Because they mesh so well.
Exactly. Well, Bigfoot in $6 Million Land, Bigfoot was the guardian for the alien beings. He wasn't just it was Andre the Giant playing Bigfoot, and the aliens, the smart aliens hiding in the mountains used him for a guardian, and then when he was brought back, the character Andre the Giant had actually become somebody in wrestling, so they couldn't get him again. So they got Ted Cassidy to play him, the guy who played Lurch on the Addams Family series. Another big tall guy. You could have got any big tall guy because he was Bigfoot. He didn't have a speaking role. He didn't have any lines. Just. And by the way, Bigfoot was bionic as well because, as Herrenberg says, it was traumatic when Steve Austin ripped Bigfoot's arm off.
What?
Yes, he was, but it's okay because they could, solder another one on and
sure,
good as new.
That's unique. That's a unique twist on the Bigfoot idea. Yeah. Make him a protector of everything weird and, conspiracy theory.
Well, I've had enough Bigfoot shows to cover this.
Well,
before. There usually are lights. There are frequently lights in the sky sightings whenever there's a Bigfoot sighting. So that's how that they go together hand in hand a lot of the time. But I know that in the 70s, the $6 Million Man was referenced a lot as sort of if not a role model, but sort of a like, hey, this is where we're going to get to give kids and adults who were having prosthetics and implants something to look forward to. Say, hey, this is what we're working toward. This is what you could be someday. When you were going through that, did you have any fictional characters or real life characters that served as sort of an inspiration that says, hey, okay, I've lost my hand, but it's okay because I can see this. This is inspiring me. This is going to, give me something to work toward.
I was actually laying up in the ER bed before I was about to have surgery, looking at my fingers, and they were black. They were ready to go. I knew they were already gone, but the doctors wanted to, suck money out of insurance and try and, save them. So I had got to go through that for 2 weeks. But anyway, so I was just sitting in the ER room before they even started to amputate my fingers, and I knew they were gone. You just know it when something about you is not going to be the same, and that was that moment. So I was actually on my phone just switching through YouTube, looking at different videos of prosthetics, and lo and behold, I came up on this company called Touch Bionics at the time. They're now My Touch by Oser because Oser bought them. But at that point, they had this hand on there that was made for partial amputees who only lose fingers and not your whole arm up to your wrist or whatever. And it has a little hole in the side where your thumb could slide through and the finger working electronically or mechanically. And I was like, how can I get that for myself? And so my hand surgeon got me in touch with my prosthetist in Chattanooga. And his name's Dr. Jim Rogers. He's a great guy. He's definitely about his patients and not about, just getting the money tucked in the back of his pocket. He's an excellent guy. And so he got me in touch with Touch Bionics. And we actually flew up there together to their base in Ohio. And I got to train with it for 2 weeks. 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, mind you. So when that came around, I had a lot to be thankful about. Yeah. I just learned a whole lot more. I worked with a group of amputees up there that were getting their hands too, because they want to do it as a group effort to keep everybody, hyped up and, just have that enthusiasm around the office. And, after that, I became an ambassador for the company. I'm about to go to a show in Atlantic City in a couple months. And, I've met so many individuals, not only just ones who have lost arms in the workplace or from, birth with congenital disorders, but I also met a lot of vets at these things, just using prosthetic legs or prosthetic arms or using, things that are made to help them out with, everyday routines like, you know, riding a motorcycle or wanting to go weightlift. A lot of people who lose limbs apparently go straight to weightlifting to, like, you know, become so pumped and everything else because they're making up for what they lost. That's the psychology of it. And but everybody's great, man. It's a great community to be part of. Everybody's uplifting, everybody's supportive. And that's actually how I came up on making the anthology, was with a bunch of other people that I met in the Limb Different community that we wanted to, you know, help and serve kids in that way.
Now, were you ever interested in making comics before the accident?
I was interested in the comics stories and stuff like that. I was a big musical theater buff. Like, I wanted to become a movie. I wanted to become an actor. I wanted to do movies. I wanted to go do the whole LA thing, you know, just be poor on a beach, try and make it big and stuff like that. And then, you know, the hand took place and I was like, well, shit, can't do that anymore because you got to be perfect in the eyes of Hollywood. And so that kind of fucked with me for a little bit, but I'm past that now. I've been on Walking Dead and other shows, so, and I'm background actor.
Where you on The Walking Dead at? Where
season 9, episode 2. My hand is the opener for that. It's definitely foreshadowing to what happens to that character in that episode. So you'll see. Oh shit, I forgot their names, but you'll see the main guy before he leaves the show. And then Eugene, the smart guy, you'll see them walk by talking about whatever they're about to have go down. They look over at my hand as I'm wrapping stencil around a piece of wood, and then it just fades into the credits and it opens up and all that jazz. And then I was in the background for a couple episodes, but it was cool. It was a cool experience.
Cool. I just didn't know if it was like, you know, you were
Ginger
comics, and then hey Gingy, glad you're here, man. And then, you know, because if you're an artist, you know, your hands are you really think
essential.
You know, you'd be like, you know, thank God it wasn't the right one if that was, you know, your dominant hand.
Right.
But I just wasn't sure whether, you know, you were into the comics creation before that. If you knew that, you know,
no,
you're not the artist on the series though.
No, I'm just the writer.
Well, never say
Jeff. I am the writer. I am the writer.
You're the idea person.
Yeah.
And I was also thinking before we got into the making the comics business, there's I know that we have the ones that now respond to the muscular contractions and the and sometimes, you know, actual electrical impulses. I would guess the next phase, if they don't have it already, would be feedback to where you actually have sensory awareness.
Within all these prosthetic businesses and orthotics and prosthetics, they are working on synthetic skins to put over your actual prosthetic or the socket. And so they want to give you that little bit of feedback. It won't necessarily feel like, you know, just like a brush up against your skin like normally, but it'll feel almost kind of like a near dead 9-volt battery on the tongue, just like that little sensation of a little like, zzz, you know, something like that. Very, very low, not really, you know, just enough to give you like, hey, you're rubbing up against something. Just a little bit of a sensation.
So but where be like, you know, hey, this is fur. Hey, this is hot. Hey, this is wet.
Yeah, just a little like caution. Hey, you're doing something that you shouldn't be. You're up against something. But I've spoken to a lot of people working at these different these different engineers, and they're saying like we are 10 years away from the Luke Skywalker hand. So we're definitely in that realm of getting that kind of that look and feel for it. So you know how like in the actual old episodes where they actually like did the circuitry in the forearm and then close it and still look like a real hand. We're among that. We're looking into getting that in the next 10 years.
Well, usually when I hear that they're looking into getting it in the next 10 years, that means that somebody's got it already.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm looking around for the guy when I'm at these conventions. I'm like, who's here just showing it off and we don't know it?
Yeah, it's the guy who doesn't show. It's the guy who doesn't have any prosthetics on.
Right.
He's the one. He stands out for virtue of not needing to be there. But yeah, everything starts out military. and then it moves into commercial, and then it moves into children's toys. I was in California once and visiting with my brother-in-law's family, and my niece brought her diary out. Now, I had contracted for the Air Force Base for a number of years before that, and she brought her diary out and says, try to open it. I'm like, oh, you got a lock. Where's the key? She's like, open diary. Click. Like, voice recognition locks. $20 million technology 2 years ago, children's toy today.
Yep, that's exactly right. I can't wait till we get to that, man. But yeah, it's the way technology has just grown in the last 10 years is ridiculous, man. Like we're definitely at the Star Trek realm where you're just like talking to people on your phone, and then suddenly you get to see their face on it, like in Demolition Man and stuff like that. Stuff that you would think would be so far down the line. Yes, just crazy stuff. How far we've come. And
he had that television screen phone for years in the 60s and 70s. Like, oh man, that's so much science fiction. I was like, it's a watch with a.
I mean, it was a cartoon, but the Jetsons even did that with their watches and all that stuff. And we're there. We're there. No flying cars, but that's okay because everybody kill each other. But we're there.
We're 30 years away from the actual psionic control of a hand or something, which means you can just take it off and tell it to go get you a beer, and it'll crawl across the floor and bring.
Oh yeah, at that point I call it thing.
Yes, call it thing. You might as well give it a name. Have conversations with it.
It'll be sign language.
Yes, it communicates to you. It wouldn't have to do sign language. Would that be funny? It could have a speaker built into it.
Yeah, it would. It'd probably go for the sign language though.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Give me a beer.
Or it brings one back, and as it's coming back, you notice the index finger has dipped itself into the hole and it's sipping it on the way back. So,
oh shit!
Hey, the campaign's in demand.
Yeah, Cobalt. That's what we're here about.
But I appreciate the conversation though, because I learned so much from everybody I have on the show.
No, not a problem. I have no problem with people coming up to me and asking me about it, man. Like you'll meet a lot of individuals that are just like, you don't know me, don't ask me. I don't care. People are curious. I would rather you ask me than be like a little kid just staring out the corner of his eye wanting to ask. I'm just going to be like, just do it. Just do it. Get it out of your system. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, it ties into the book, so it makes sense for me to ask the questions. And then,
most definitely.
If you disappear, I'm like, okay, I shouldn't have asked that one. The featured tier on this one is the metal print cover. So this is literally metal pasted or attached or affixed somehow to the book. Oh, he's
no. It's just a metal print of the cover art.
Oh, I read that wrong. Yes, it does say metal print of cover.
Yeah.
I have seen books where they have affixed it to the cover and it's the front of the book, but
I don't know how well that would work. I mean, I'm sure it'd look cool, but I don't know about function.
But that's not just the metal. It says included items mean metal print of cover, but you do get the digital, the physical, the sticker, the 11x17 poster, the cover size metal print of the cover. Yeah. So that's a lot for the $60.
Oh yeah.
And how you got copies of the book there? How thick is that sucker?
Okay, so it's. Let me get an actual individual one. I'll be right back.
All right. Sorry. That's okay. Because we'll just kind of scroll down here and take a look at the other options on here.
All right, here we are.
Hey, he's back that fast.
Fast. So it's pretty thick. It's 44. I mean, it's 44 pages cover to cover. That's the thickness of it right there. But it's good paper. I didn't want to skimp on it.
Looks square.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff.
Yeah.
It almost looks like it's painted inside.
Yeah, his art, I mean, it just looks like it was just hand drawn. It's crazy that it's digital though. He did it all digital, no scanning or anything.
Wow. That is very, very nice looking stuff.
Yeah. And then on the back right there is the ad page for Mavericks by Global Frequency Studios.
I know them.
Yeah. So when I had the the tier up to where you could get an ad page. They actually bought one of the ads for it, and I just gave them the back cover because I was like, this is comic oriented, so they're going to get all the publicity they can.
That would be an interesting, not necessarily in-world story, I guess, but an interesting crossover because everything that they've got is mechs and they're controlling it externally.
I'd love to. Yeah, I could upgrade Cobalt's suit. Who knows?
Yes. Absolutely.
Sky's the limit.
You can do anything in comics. It's comics and animation. That was one of the things that I talked with Lou Scheimer about when he was talking about the Star Trek cartoons that they did for Filmation. He's like, we basically did the fifth year of the Star Trek 5-year voyage. They couldn't do in the movies or in the television because they got canceled. He's like, but we didn't have to worry about cheap looking suits. It was all animations. We could have real aliens on the crew, and they did. It was the first time you saw non-humanoid looking creatures in Starfleet uniforms.
Right. No more sleeping green females.
I forget their names, but there was a humanoid cat woman with she purred and everything, and there was like a guy with a camel head. Just weird.
Great after party after that episode.
Yes. If you don't want the medal, I don't know why you wouldn't. It's very cool looking.
Right? And it's a hell of a deal. It's free shipping in the US.
So it's $60 flat out.
$60 flat for all the goods.
Oh, guys.
Yeah, man.
Get in on this before it closes out because it's already in demand and there's not that many stretch goal items left.
Right.
Now, I know that you're waiting on him to print up one more thing. It was the trading card you said.
Yes.
Okay, so and that will be smaller.
That'll be
smaller.
smaller.
That'll take less time to print because it's not as big, right?
Exactly.
I wonder how I'm going to have him on sometime just to talk about the medals. We had him on for his book, but
for Golden, yeah.
I'd be interested in knowing how he cuts the metal or if he orders it pre-cut.
He has a guy who he gets his scrap metal from. I don't know if it comes in sheets or whatever, but he gets the scrap metal and he has a cutter and a laminator and printer, all that stuff he does in-house by himself. It's crazy.
Oh my God. Okay, so I took in my high school we had to have 4 quarterly credits of shop.
Okay.
And every whoops, and that's not the one I wanted to do. And every quarter was a different course. So, I flunked wood. So I'm just going to come out and admit that's the only course I ever flunked in my life because I couldn't get the wood planed flat enough for the teacher. And everybody else was just moving on. But I did take metals. And I remember, we were, you would scratch the design out on the sheet metal and you'd clamp it out and you'd cut it with the big cutters and you'd bend it. And I'm thinking of this, remembering this, I'm like, what if, Phoenix could have like a pattern and say, print it on the pattern and then bend it and have like, printed toolboxes or printed closing boxes that wraps around, the picture wraps around it.
Yeah.
In such a way that it looks, good when it's bent and folded.
Right.
Like the pieces come together and show the thing off.
Well, he tried making that binder, that Cyberfrog binder for trading cards. Did you see that where he tried to he was going to weld these pieces together and everything, and then it was going to have the art on it and everything. I don't know if he went through with it or not, but he was definitely thinking about doing it.
Yeah, I would just bend it and pop rivet it.
Yeah, I'd just be like, take my money.
Yeah, and just make like the toolbox I made for my dad that leaked at the edges, but it was cool, because I made it. Put this back up here. If you just want to get the book, though, it's only $20, and $20 means $20.
That's right.
It comes with the chibi sticker of Cobalt, which you see right there, and I'm going to guess the stretch goals still in effect. So, what stretch goals did you hit?
The stretch goals that we hit are, of course, the one that Shay wanted over there. Yep. So we got the 4-inch patches, 4 inches in diameter of Tail End Comics. So, you know, it's hot cut. It's actually printable. There's no iron on. This is actually, you're going to have to stitch this bitch on. It's so nice. This is what it looks like right there. That's my chest. That's how big it's going to be. It's going to know you represented.
This.
That's beautiful. Monster MD.
I need one. I need that to go with this. So I was debating about whether or not I needed to buy a baseball cap or a denim jacket. I think the jacket's been now decided on because I'm going to have more than one patch after this.
Jacket's going to do it. I'll wear it to all cons.
Oh, man. The Blood Brothers packet for $35. That is 2 physical copies. So, you know, $15 more, you're getting an extra copy of the book. To give to a friend, to donate to, you know, a children's hospital. Do what you want with it.
Actually, on that tier, I know only 4 have been taken, but I'm actually going to sign one, and then the other one you can just mess around with, and that one you can frame up or collect or whatever. But whoever gets the Blood Brothers package, I am signing that second one.
Very nice. And of course, you know, all stretch goals still included, and the shipping is built in for the United States people. So keep that in mind as we keep going through here, folks. There's no shipping on this if you're in the U.S. Stay Vigilant is going to include all of that. One physical copy. The sticker and the 11x17 poster by Art of Bert. Looking back at the screen now, I'm going to give you the full.
That's his name on poster. Yeah, his name on Facebook is Albert De La Cruz. He's a great artist. He's a great guy. But yeah, the face behind him is Esmeralda, the leader of the Aranya that took his hand. So, I mean, she's an evil bitch.
Aranya, that's Spanish for something.
Spider.
I thought it was spider, but I was like, no, that would be arachna. But yes, okay, so they're kind of like Hydra, but
yeah, kind of the druggy kind.
And the last tier that's still available is the name's Cobalt. This is the $100 tier where you get the 11x17 poster and the 11x17 metal print, and we're going to bring. I should have left you up there. That's all I should have done. No, this is a ginormous metal print.
Yeah. So actually, because it was easier for Phoenix to cut these at this size, these metals here are actually going to be 12x18. So yeah, this is how much bigger it is than the paper print.
It's a lot bigger.
Yeah. So
and you're still shipping that for free within the U.S. even at this tier.
I know. I don't know what's with everybody.
I'm just
gold.
Thinking,
this is gold for people.
You can't hold that up.
No.
And I'll tell you, I'm looking at the print here online. That lightning bolt. If it were me, and I'm saying this as though, you know, my 1/4 of metal work 40 years ago has made me an accomplished tradesman. I would cut into that metal in a very thin line along that lightning bolt in right through the middle of it, and then I would light box that metal print.
That would be beautiful.
So the light could come through the cuts.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about doing something like that before with the wraparound cover if it were a metal print, you know, just kind of like doing
or the splash page that we have in the background. That would be beautiful. Yes.
That's what I was meaning there.
Yes.
and not even, you know, light box showing through, but with that one, I would like drill tiny holes through the back and feed LEDs in there to make the different colors pop. Maybe even,
I love it.
You know, look like little mini neon. Like if I could get an open sign printed up small, I would just like have it like overlaid on top of the open sign so that it kind of gave it some 3-dimensionality while it was lighting up.
I would love to do that, but I'm going to need money to do it. All the money's going to the issues right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Good day, Comics Mate. How you doing, Dean?
Hey, Dean. Good to see you here, man. Dean is somebody else who's working with me on comic book shipping. Easier for me to work that one because guess what? It's all coming in here. Everybody buys. If we started selling as many comics in Australia as Australia sells to us, things will be a lot easier for the shipping business.
No kidding.
Because the more, the cheaper. Oh, this is gorgeous.
Yep. So if you were on the mailing list before we launched, you are getting that metal trading card done by Phoenix Animation. It's right there. And then on the back of it is, of course, the Tail End Comics logo.
It's double
Yeah.
printed.
Double printed. And the stretch goal metal card is also going to be double printed, double-sided.
Okay. Is the stretch goal card also displayed on the page here?
Nope.
Oh, that's right, because it's the cover of number 2.
Yep, it's cover number 2. So unless you, if you don't back the physical tier, you're not going to see issue 2 until we launch the campaign, the issue 2 campaign.
Look at this interior art, folks. This is, I can't remember. I want to say it's Alex Maleev that it reminds me of. It's easier for me to remember the book than it is the artist. I want to say still say it's Maleev, but the Wolverine Havoc graphic novel that came out.
Yeah,
it reminds me very much of that style. Wow, that was a long time ago. So you unlocked the patch, which we've seen. You've unlocked another trading card by Erwin Arosa.
Yep.
And the 7-page story is going to be included now because of that.
We didn't even hit that plus 3,000 tier, but I said screw it anyway because I'm an awesome son of a bitch, and I went ahead and included it in the back of the book. So you'll have it right there. 7-page origin story. Didn't hit it, but you're going to get it.
Going to get it anyway. Now, you know, I thought you had unlocked it because I'm like, we're at 5,000.
Yeah, 3,000 was the fixed goal, and we only got to the extra 2,000 tier. So that brought us to 5,000, unlocking the patch and the metal trading card.
Well, see, now I don't know how to read Indiegogo anymore because I always thought that this bottom number here that I've highlighted was like where you were on the day of close, and that this was just like where you were current. So
is that not how it is?
Well, yeah, but this is 4,390, which.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, our fixed goal was 3,000, but yeah, we got over that by 2,000. So.
Oh! This is plus 3,000. That's where.
Yeah. So if we hit the 6,000 tier, that would have been and then the 7,000. If we hit $7,000, that would be the $4,000 tier. I'll make it more clear next time. Yeah, I'll work out the numbers.
Just the total dollar we're aiming for.
Okay, no problem. I'll just put a little lock there, and if it's unlocked, it means you got it.
All right, yeah, that would work too. You don't even have to tell us. I don't know how much we got to get, so we better give him more. You can just unlock him when I feel like it.
Have we hit a stretch goal yet? Nope. Keep giving them money.
Yeah, but like, you know, last stretch goal here, a gold bar for everybody. Don't tell them what it is. And then if you hit 6 million, you can afford those gold bars and send them out. All right. Well, this has been fun and informative, and I want this. I want this book.
I want you to want this book.
Yes. So I'm going to take care of that. How much
you
longer
have it
in demand?
I'll keep it in demand until I put up the mailing list for issue 2.
So
that might just be the book at that point because I'll be running low on my metals and my prints at that point. But yeah, I'll keep them up either until I run out of that stuff or until I put up issue 2's mailing list.
Okay, and do you have any kind of a timeline from Phoenix Animation as to when the trading cards will be done so that people have an idea when fulfillment might start?
Well, I was on his stream just a couple days ago, and he was working on them that night while we were streaming. So it's got to be right around the corner. So I expect to start fulfillment in the next 2 weeks.
Very, very cool. If you need any help with that, let me know.
I'll be hitting you up, man.
All right. Well, Bionic Bra, thank you so much, man, for jumping in here and taking a slot that had opened up. We had a cancellation earlier in the week, and you know, like the lazy bastard I am, I waited until the last minute. Said, "Oh yeah, I really need to fill that slot."
No, man, thank you for allowing me to fill that spot. I mean, you know, I like filling holes. I won't look at you in the
We
eye
do.
for 2 weeks, but I like filling holes, so we're good.
It's what we're made for. All right. If you are watching this on the replay, be sure to click the link below. Don't wait too long, because if you're watching this several weeks down the road, this might be no longer valid. So click it now. Get out to the Indiegogo and get your copy of Cobalt. Get you some metal prints in your life. Everybody in the chat, appreciate you being here. Won't ask you to like it. We'll ask you to share it so that we can get this in front of more eyeballs. Sell as many copies as you can. Make him go back to the printer. To print more books up.
I like that.
That would be just the most awesome thing you could do.
It would.
We appreciate you being here, everybody. We don't have a show without you. And as always, we just hope you had a blast. Good night.